This is Samsung's S20 Fan Edition, released October of 2020. That makes it more than 5 years now. And we are going to be answering this simple question. Should you get like an A series device or an older kind of mid-range flagship Samsung device like this? 1080 by 2400 pixels, 120 Hz, although this isn't variable, which means it's going to take a chunk out of your battery. Where is it? Yep, it's not variable. I know you'd see adaptive on like something like the standard S20 and S21. Nonetheless, it's still 120 Hz and that's still nice for animations. Also Super AMOLED obviously and HDR10 plus capable. None of Samsung's devices come with Dolby Vision, which is something Apple uses to take the edge when it comes to displaying HDR content. We also have Gorilla Glass 3 on this particular phone. Meanwhile, we have more than Gorilla Glass 5 on A series nowadays. Yeah, which means the front glass is not as durable as A series devices of, let's say, its price range. More or less so. And then we have the optical fingerprint scanner. It's not ultrasonic, but it still does the trick. Funny thing is, I set up this fingerprint and then I put the screen protector on top of the device and it still works perfectly, as you can see. Nice and easy, although a bit slower. But then you get the same kind of fingerprint scanner here as you get on almost every single A series device. Yeah, so not much difference there. With display, I would say it's more or less the same experience with like an A series. The panel is not the brightest out there, yeah, but then it's bright enough for daily use. I would say 800 nits on average that you get on standard content, which is not the worst. Looks like we have to download a little update. I hope my Wi-Fi is fast enough anyway. You know what, guys? Let's make the Call of Duty more interesting. The battery is currently 88%. We'll try out one multiplayer match and see where it ends at afterwards. We have Ultra, obviously 90 FPS. Yep. And you can only use Ultra at low settings, so that's fine. Don't forget, we started at 87% thereabouts. Haptics work alright. So far, so good. No frame drops. Everything is still going nice and easy.
Park would be testing. Cetra got ready for deployment. Cetra got deployed. Stealth chopper awaiting orders. RAPS is ready. RAPS declare. QB online.
Alright, I'm beginning to see frame drops. But it's still playable anyway. Yeah, still playable for now. Funny thing is, I'm actually gaming on Wi-Fi and it's this hot. I can only imagine gaming through mobile data. And also this Call of Duty is quite demanding, so I won't really say every game would be this device burning. Yep, and that's a wrap. Obviously the MVP. Yeah, was it 88% battery we started at or 87? Doesn't even matter, does it? Currently at 85. So you can see it doesn't really drain that much over Wi-Fi anyway for a simple Call of Duty match. I would say you shouldn't really count on using this device to game for any competitive gaming scenario. Yeah, it's going to fail you. It gets quite warm and a bit laggy as you guys saw, but nonetheless I would say the performance is still reasonable and the battery life is not so bad. So on 25th, as you can see, 116% of charge was used with a total screen time of 8 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, I would let you judge. Yeah, she spent almost 5 hours watching YouTube and almost 2 hours playing Shadow Fight 2 and like 37 minutes playing other games and Movie Box and One UI Home, stuff like that. Yeah, you should be the judge of this, but this is how the battery usage looked like on a typical day. Yeah, mostly on Wi-Fi anyway. It has a plastic back and it has metal, a little bit of aluminum on the side, more like half aluminum and half plastic. Yeah, and it feels quite, yeah, I can't really call it light. It's kind of a bit heavy. I would say 190 grams. Yeah, it's not the worst. Yeah, but then it definitely feels a bit weighty. Now, one thing that would give you an edge when you pick this over an A series device. First of all, you'd have wireless charging. I don't think every A series device has it. So of course, even if they are that have it, they would be above the budget for this. We also have USB Type-C 3.2 here. I don't think any single A series device has that. And then we have reverse wireless charging. And then we have Samsung DeX. These are S series exclusive features, which this device has, and almost every A series does not have those. This peaked at Android 13. Yeah, that's the best you'd ever get. So if you want to update, you have to look for options like a custom ROM or just upgrade your device to a newer one, like the S21 Fan Edition. I made a video reviewing that as well. It's linked to the description of this video. We also have no AI here and no circle to search. At least though we have Bixby. Yeah. Well, it's not like Android 12 is so bad. Yeah, we can still do this ridiculous stuff. So these are the Geekbench 6 cores. I don't know if the single core is this low because I didn't turn on enhanced processing. Yeah, I left it in its default state and this is what we got. The multi-core is acceptable, more than the average, which is not the worst. I mean, compare this to Pixel devices. Yeah, and the single core, well, this is what we got. This is not the kind of Samsung phone I'll just straight up recommend you to buy, even if it has the S series standard perks that you guys know and love. Yeah, but then I'll say that if you ever have to choose between this particular device and let's say like an A32 or A71, something like that, because this should cost around $100 or $110 or even less if you're lucky to get it at a cheaper rate. Yeah, then I'll say you should go for something like this. Yeah, it has many perks and I'll say it's more versatile since it's an S series. Even if you don't get the latest software, at least you get features like Type-C, USB Type-C 3.2. You get USB 2.0 even on many iPhones nowadays. Yeah, so this is very underrated. Also, we have reverse wireless charging, Samsung DeX. Yeah, those nice features I actually like about the S series. Yeah. But then if you ever want to think of performance, I would say do not get this simply because of the thermals. Yes, the thermals are not all that. The battery is not so bad though. Yeah, thanks to the 4500 milliampere hours, that could make up for the refresh rate not being able to vary itself down to like at least 60 or 48 hertz. It stays either at 60 or 120, and obviously I'm going to leave it at 120, but it's not so good for the battery. One more thing, if you ever have a budget for something like an A55 or an A56, I would say yeah, go for something like that over this, but those obviously cost way more than you'd get this. Yeah, for its price range, it's not a bad choice. It has many features that even in base iPhone 13 does not have. What do you guys think?